You know, folks, I mentioned this yesterday or the other day. Actually, the other day because I slept in most of yesterday. I was tired after the whole situation with me and my brother-in-law and his coworkers having to wait a few hours before my sister came and picked me and his coworkers up, and because the truck broke down and stuff. But anyway, he's getting that fixed right now, I hope. But anyway, getting to the topic at hand. I mentioned at the end of the written topic, at the written review of countdown of the entire Countdown to Chaos arc, that to me the way the freedom fighters individually were being uh, presented or represented, if you will, re-debuted, if you will, or debuted with the new looks and stuff. That the way it seemed that they were being showcased to me, and especially when you take a look at the end of 256 and you kind of look at the cover for 257 and the Viant cover for 257, and then of course you take a look at the Viant cover for 258, and of course you take a look at the entire collage for the Countdown to Chaos arc covers, official covers, from uh, 55 to not 55 but 54, 50, what was it, 53, I believe. Yeah, 53 to 56. When you look at those and you put them together, and we pretty much, any of us have pretty much seen it already. In fact, you take a look at my more recent videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. The collage, the Countdown to Chaos cover collage, which basically is like a poster if you want to make it a poster. And obviously, some people at Archie Comics have asked of us, the fans, to demand that Archie makes a cover, makes a poster out of it. But the point is, the point I'm trying to make is the way they were presented and showcased, you know, individually as well, on the cover collage for Countdown to Chaos, the 257 official cover, the 257 Viant cover, and then of course with Sally, the 258 Viant cover. It almost seems, in story as well as in the stories as well. It almost seemed to me like Ian Flynn, whether you like Ian Flynn or you don't like Ian Flynn, was presenting them all together, building them up and reintroducing them not only to us older longtime fans who knew of them, but also I guess introducing them to the newer fans. But the way it seemed like to me was he was presenting them as almost as if they were this comic books version, Archie Comics books, or Archie Comics, and maybe even Sega's version of the Justice League, of the Avengers, of the X-Men. Basically, I mean, because if you think about it, if you want to look at it from, like, say, some of those, like, let's say the Justice League and Avengers examples, you want to take a look at that, of what I mean. You can almost see like there's some kind of inspiration there. I mean, you're giving the freedom fighters, I guess you could say, a home away from home with Sky Patrol. So you got us, which is basically, I guess, the equivalent, if you will, to the Shield air base that the Avengers used in the Avengers movie, and that they use, I guess, in Avengers Assembled, though I'm not really sure, but in the Avengers comics as well. You basically gave them the Sky Patrol, which is almost the equivalent to that flying fortress in the Avengers movie. And then, if you want to talk about another equivalent, what about, I can't even think of its name right now, the Watchtower. It's almost the equivalent of the Watchtower, in a sense. True, it's not in space True, it hasn't gone into space that we know of yet, but the Sky Patrol is almost that equivalent. And then when you take a look at the exterior, especially at towards the end of 256, not to give much away, but you got like this seated area where everybody could just sit down and talk things over. That's almost the equivalent of the round table, if you will, or the table settings, or the meeting area, if you will, like on that shield, on the Shield's Flying Fortress in Avengers, as well as the meeting area in the Watchtower in Justice League. So again, what I pointed out was basically that it seems like to me, as I mentioned at the beginning, that it seems like to me what Ian Flynn is doing here is he wants to present the freedom fighters as a more action-oriented team. In other words, basically make them the team that a lot of, I guess in his opinion, well, not in his opinion, but in his eyes, being a fan himself at one point, being the freedom fighters team that they were always meant to be. Be the team that is about action. You don't just have somebody sitting behind that's always supposed to be in the front, in the heart of the action. You don't have that individual just waiting on the sidelines. You have them in action you have them right in the middle of the action. I mean, if you take a look at the Valiant cover, like I said, for 257, you kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about. The point is this. The point is this. The way, in my opinion, the way I look at it is Ian Flynn wants to, and it's not just for us, it's not just for us older fans. It's not just for us older fans, I guess. But I guess for the newer generation, he wants to present the freedom fighters in a way that makes them very similar, if not resemble in a way, other comic book superhero teams or comic book hero teams that they have seen before, if not recently. Like I mentioned, like seeing things like superhero groups or hero groups like the Avengers. Kind of make them almost similar to that. Same way with Justice League. Same way with maybe X-Men. And possibly even Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that's, and even maybe Teen Titans, there you go, as well. But again, I understand some of you may look at that, may listen to this, and may read that, and you might say, no, there's no way that he's doing that. Excuse me. You're probably thinking, no, there's no way he's going to do that. Well, guess what? I want you to look back at every single issue of the Countdown to Chaos arc, and you tell me if he's not presenting them in a similar way. He's not building them up, putting them back together in a similar way. Take a look at the covers for 257, the CGI cover. Take a look at the Valiant cover for 257 by Lamar Wells. Take a look at the Valiant cover for 258. You tell me, and then again, all together, you take a look at the cover collage for all the issues of the Countdown to Chaos arc, and you tell me if he's not trying to present them in a more action-oriented way. Now, I know some of you might say, well, they've been like that before, haven't they? Well, true, they've had some action poses and all that. In fact, when they did I think one of the issues during this Suppression Squad invasion, the Suppression Squad invasion arc, if you will, one of the issues, you had the Freedom Fighters on one side, and you had on one cover, and then on the other cover you had the Suppression. Excuse me. You had the Suppression Squad. You had the Suppression Squad on the other, going at each other, getting ready to go at each other, and then of course you take a look at, let's say, the cover for Sonic and Knuckles Battle Royal. So yeah, they've kind of been in that situation, but not in this sense, I guess. But I guess in the eyes of someone like Ian Flynn and some of the people at the Archie Creative, not in this sense. And then of course you add in the fact that each of the characters, like I mentioned in the written deal, have their own special powers and abilities now. Bunny's got some kind of shield thing or whatever it is now. Antoine's got his little spin dash. That's right out of his little sword spin dash is right out of Sonic and the Black Knight. Sally, she's got her energy blades, if you will, whether you like that um, addition or not, because it might remind you of the Mecha Sally arc. Rotor's kind of like more lean and more muscular. And Nicole's got her own, I guess, contribution to it, if you will. And then, of course, you take a look at the established game characters like Cream and Tails. They can fly. They got the flying situation there. And Tails, of course, being the brainiac along with Rotor. You take a look at Big. He's sort of like Rotor. He's like the muscle. He's also another muscle of the team, if you will. I mean, when you look at it, it's almost like this. Again, this is the Freedom Fighter team that, in my opinion, that I believe, in my opinion, Ian Flynn always thought they should be. Basically, have every Freedom Fighter, non-game Freedom Fighter, like Sally, like Bunny, like Rotor, like Antoine, have some kind of special ability that sort of puts them on the same level, if not equal, to that of Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, Big, Tails, and even Cream, if you will. So that, to me, is why I think he presented them and built them up in this sense. And didn't really say, that much when it came to these characters. Not to the characters, but didn't really say that much when it came to how they were going to be reintroduced. Even though some of us had an idea, some of us really didn't. But again, this is just my opinion, and all I'm asking you people out there, and if you want to take your time and read this, and read the little excerpt I'm going to put in there from a previous post. But if any of you want to read this, go ahead. If any of you want to respectfully take the time and listen to this, it's not going to be that long. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think the way Ian Flynn has reintroduced the characters to us longtime fans, as well as introduced them to the new generation, do you think he's done it in a sense that makes them similar in some ways to that of Marvel's Avengers, DC's Justice League, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men, Teen Titans? Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that was Ian's intention the whole time? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, and I will talk to you all later, but let me know what you guys think. Do you agree or not? I think honestly that was his intention, but let me know what you guys think. And I'll talk to you all later. God bless. Take care. We're ending this right now at 13 minutes, 16 seconds.